hit all of us very differently, all of us in different sectors. Even in research sector, we had to switch from in-person activities to virtual ones. So before, we were conducting all of our survey activities, be it scoping, meeting partners, even surveying and the dissemination of findings. All of it was done, like most of it was done in person, but now after COVID hit, we had to switch from this to virtual medium. So we had our meetings via Zoom, and also for research, we've been switching to phone surveys, and yeah, we've been relying on technology a lot, I guess. And like I previously mentioned, we had to switch from in-person activities to virtual ones. So even for the survey, we were conducting in-person surveys before, but after the pandemic hit, we switched to phone surveys. And we also looked closely at the project itself. We were studying on how Nepal was transitioning into federalism. So I think the pandemic also gave us an opportunity to use the current situation looking at how the different levels of government were looking at the COVID response, and looking at how it was affecting different levels of government. I think in-person surveys and phone surveys have different strengths. So of course, we can't really, it is challenging to base the same survey and do it, like switch it to phone surveys like automatically. So we had to devise methods in how we could do that. I think the first step was to make the survey shorter, because of course you also have to keep in mind the time span of respondent, because if the questions just drag long, like for a really long time, then their interest fades and they might not really be also like listening properly, and that affects the kind of responses that we get. So one was to limit the number of questions that we had, and also how we were asking questions. Of course, we can't also, when we are talking about the options, we can't really have a long list of options, because that would give the respondents, that will just confuse the respondents even more. So I think that was one. And also thinking about the kind of questions we were asking, because we also find out that some of the questions were working really well in person, but when we really tried to ask people that over the telephone, then it was really difficult to explain the questions, and that was making the surveys unnecessarily long. So yeah, two things. One, just limiting the average length of the survey, and two, just devising how we were asking some kind of questions over others. As an example, I mean, when you are in person and when you are interacting with the respondent, then of course you can explain the questions more, you can maybe show them something, or maybe they will get a chance to even like read it out by themselves. And the same goes when they have the opportunity of filling out a form, because they can read the same question over and over again. But in phone surveys, you have like a limited time, you are calling the respondent, and it's very important that you use simple language and make it direct. As I previously pointed out, I think the switching from in-person to virtual medium means that we are relying excessively on technology. So I think that has its strength as well as it poses some challenges. We have to plan the research, we have to conduct scoping, we have to conduct piloting, recruitment, training, and the surveying, of course, and research dissemination. All of that and all of those activities are happening virtually, right? So we have to see that we are using technology, and also all of these other actors who are the surveyors, the facilitators, supervisors, and if there are associations who are helping with the research, if they have the access to proper technology and how friendly they are with using those technologies. So one, I think we should be able to ensure that they are able to access the technology properly by ensuring they're using the right equipments, and second, if they have the adequate knowledge of using the technology on a daily basis to support research. For the young researchers, I think it should be an advice that I've been also following. So I would say that it's never too late to go back to the books and learn the basics of things, especially when you're struggling with something very simple, but it's completely alright to do that. And also, like, I think linking up and looking up people who are doing similar kind of work as you are, because that just gives you a direction to work.